to bring up our requesting Dharma slides, and who is going to do the Dharma request?
Michael.
Okay, Michael, there you are. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo sadanto sucedoye holahudi sanmyao sanputoshe. 无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in a billion eons. But now we see it, hear it, and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Venerable Master and Dhamma friends, welcome to our Sutra lecture. It is Sunday, December 27th here in Australia, and it's Saturday, December 26th evening in California. We're going to be looking into the Flower Garland Sutra once again, and to get us going, I'm going to open up the files that we will need. Okay, we will come back to page 32. And first we're going to invoke Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the Avatamsaka assembly. And we're going to be chanting the Chinese down below. If you can do the Hanzi, do the Hanzi. If you can do the Romanization, do the Romanization. Here we go. Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Yan Ji Yan Hai Hui O Pu Sa Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Yan Ji Yan Hai Hui O Pu Sa Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Yan Ji Yan Hai Hui O Pu Sa Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Yan Ji Yan Hai Hui O Pu Sa Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Yan Ji Yan Hai Hui O Pu Sa Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Yan Ji Yan Hai Hui O Pu Sa Namo Da Fang Guang Fo Yan Ji Yan Hai Hui O Pu Sa. Right? There we are, right there. Okay. I wanted to, as we get started here, well, let's see. Before I do that, we should actually begin our text. So I'll boost up the Chinese here so we can see it clearly. We're going to read, let's do two quatrains, 2 verses of 4. Okay, 2 sets of 4 verses, say it that way. And again, I'll be reading the Chinese here, and if you all want to follow in the Romanized spelling, or if you can read the characters, you can do that. Here we go. Ready? 体相寂灭汝幻等，有无不二理分别，随顺法性如是观，此智 De Chang Ru Liu Di. We'll do the next 4 lines. Ming Li Shun Ren Zhi Ju Zu Guan Cha Shi Jian Sheng Mie Xiang Yi Chi An Li Shi Jian Sheng Ruo Mie Chi An Shi Wu Yao. Okay, that's the Chinese. Now we're going to look at the English. Now this is a provisional translation. We're going to work on the translation. In substance and marks, still and extinct, like illusions and so forth, non-dual in being and non-being, free from discriminations. According with Dharma's nature, he makes such contemplations. This wisdom brings about that he enters the 6th ground. Endowed with wisdom of patience, of clarity, and keenness to accord, he observes marks of production and extinction of the world, that through power of stupidity's darkness the worldly is produced, and if stupidity's darkness disappears, the worldly does not exist. All right. Well, what in the world could that mean? All right. I've taken the English and put it onto this page here, which I'm going to drag there. We're going to look at it fresh, and I think we'll get more light, because the English is kind of opaque. It's language that makes you think that somehow it's impossible, it's way hard to understand. And I think if we take another crack at it, I think we'll discover that it's what we do understand will show up, and more importantly, what we don't understand will show up. And then we have a basis we have a place to begin. We have a place to work on the part we don't understand. So that's the idea. Instead of it being all kind of, it's easy to give up if you think, the first thing I don't understand, 2 things, 3 things, by the time we get to the 4th thing that we don't understand, mostly the mind just goes tilt, this is not for me, and we leave it, or we worse, criticize it, say, oh, that's just way, nobody can understand that. That's, typical reactions when it's too distant. So our work here is to bring it closer, right? We want to make it approachable. And one way is to point to what we don't know. And I think that's really a healthy exercise when you come to Buddhism, is to be able to say, I don't get that. I don't know that. That's not my state. I'm not responsible for trying to fake that, right? So that's healthy. Really, that's a good thing to do, to be able to honestly say, no, I'm still working on the ground, the basics. I'm working on the foundation. But before we get there, I wanted to share with everybody a nice photograph that I got the other day. And people are going to go, oh yeah, that's a tree with a brown thing in it. What's so neat about that? Well, you have to know the story. You are looking at the brand new nest of a pair of friar birds, like a Franciscan friar, F-R-I-A-R, friar birds. And friar birds are also known as leatherheads, because they're, if the truth be told, not the most handsome bird in the world. Their head is bare of feathers, and it's triangular. They have a triangular head with the back part is like a woodpecker, or Woody Woodpecker, how he's got this tuft in the back, and they have a long beak because they belong to the family that are called honey eaters, eaters of honey, meaning most of their food comes from nectar and pollen and stuff. So this particular pair of friar birds decided to build this nest right over our entrance, our walkway. Maybe it's not the pair. Maybe the wife wouldn't have done such a silly thing, but the male did it. he picked out this particular crook of the tree and right over our walk, and he started to build it. And we saw the framework go up. We saw the lining go up. He was so busy. There were 3 days where this Firebird must have made 100 trips a day, back and forth. And I watched his beak go, and he's really good at fitting in just a little piece of twig here and there, and then out comes this beautiful nest. And so he built a nest, and then there was nothing going on, and I thought, he must know why he's building that nest. And sure enough, one day, 2 Firebirds, the female arrived. And so I saw the 2 of them fly off into the trees, and I thought that's probably the part where we discreetly turn our heads the other way, right? In a Walt Disney film, that's where they would cut to a picture of the little girl blushing or covering her little sister's eyes. Anyway, so they came back, and I'm curious because our experience has been once a bird has eggs or once the eggs hatch, nothing can get near that nest. They keep you away from it, dive bombing if need be. If it's a magpie, you wear a football helmet or a hard hat or a bicycle helmet because they'll actually bang on your head. So this being like 6 feet over our heads as we go up and down our walk, I was a little concerned. And so I took this picture and I thought, well, you can't really see much until I blew it up. There she is in her nest on the eggs. That's the female Firebird. And you can't see that she's got red eyes, but you can see her leather head and her long beak. And every time we go up and down, she panics and streaks out of the nest until we're out of the sight, and then she comes back. So I'm a little concerned that once those eggs are hatched, we're going to have to go in the back door or something until they're gone. But you can see what a architectural creation this is. Yeah, Jin Hosher?
I'm sure I would say, when I was there, they built a nest at the same, along the above the driveway, and they will dive bomb you. It started when I was standing trying to take photographs of them. After that, they started attacking me every time.
But those were the currawongs, I think.
No, these ugly looking birds. It
was this one.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, they look ancient. Yeah, like mini vultures.
These are Firebirds, and okay, so that's your experience. Well, because it's directly over our walk, and
but they're harmless. They just before they hit you, they turn away. So
they buzz you, right?
Yeah, they just want to scare you, not hurt you.
They want to scare you. Yeah. Well, we would love to get along with them and be good neighbors, but oh man. Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. Oh my goodness. All right. So I wanted people to know about that. By the way, happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas. And in keeping with our, you grab your traditions where you find them. You don't have a lot of traditions, but the ones you have, you keep. And we have a tradition of singing Buddhist Christmas carols, so Buddhist Dharma carols. So we're going to do some Dharma carols later on. I did them this morning for our meditation group, and they were well received. But it's a funny, in order to get the benefit of the Dharma carols, number one, you have to have sung Christmas carols. And that, let's see, looking around the room, I don't know how many of you grew up hearing Christmas carols. Maybe Michael did in San Jose. Michael, did your family do Christmas carols growing up?
Them in schools, but not in my family. It's not a family tradition.
The only time you hear them is when you go shopping, kind of like, right, Silent Night, Anybody there? Hands? Okay, Jinho, you did. In school? How did you hear?
At home, my dad
at home.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay,
Okay, Chin Shan.
Yes, in Poland, this is
quite obvious. Everyone grow up in
Yeah, yeah. So,
and
me
singing.
too. And I grew up. Yeah, yeah.
And
But you'd heard them in Polish, so maybe you.
we sang them with family together, and yeah, it's quite nice spirit and experience.
Well, we're off. Our sutra lecture is off to a feathery start with birds and carols, but we're going to get to the sutra. When I grew up, Methodists have a great hymnal, right? Our Methodist hymnal is really, really, that's the best part of being a Methodist probably is the music, and it's really, really good. And so we were surrounded by Christmas carols, and I grew up knowing, 30 Christmas carols, 34, and everybody sang them. And the better it was classy if you knew the obscure Christmas carols. You got points if you knew the rare ones, and all the verses, right? The standard ones, Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly, and The First Noel, and O Little Town of Bethlehem, and all that. Those are the real Christian hymns, Christian carols. Then there were the, Dashing Through the Snow in a One-Horse Open Sleigh, and there were some very obscure ones. I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. Yeah. So we won't go there, but there were lots of Christmas carols. And chestnuts roasting on an open fire. So I picked out a few and wrote Dharma lyrics to them. And this morning, it was interesting. Most of the meditators this morning were Aussie, but not very many of them knew the carols. The couple who did grew up in Great Britain. They grew up on the Channel Islands, the Jersey shore of out in the English Channel. And of course, many of our Christmas carols were British to begin with. The Americans got them, the Yanks got them later. So we had fun. So you have to know the carols. Then you have to know Dharma to get the fun, to get the real humor. So these are not these are not laughter-invoking songs, parodies. These are parody songs. But those who do really like them. So I'm going to inflict them on you later on in our lecture. All right? Okay, here we go. So, we're going to need the Chinese, I'm afraid. We'll do it line by line. That's the way to do it. Watch the spinning beach ball. It was just 7 characters. Let me go. Okay. Yes, good. Good. We have to do it step by step because it gets out of order otherwise, line by line. Sometimes it helps to actually start over with the Chinese and not accept the first translation if we're going to there we go, make an effective retranslation. So one thing we can do here, let's look first at the Chinese. It's Ti, Xiang. Ti is body, Xiang is the appearance, the things you see and hear. Qi, silent, still and serene. Mia, finished. So look at the English. Pure Chinese syntax. Substance and marks still and extinct. Ru, like. Huan, illusions, dung, etc. Like illusions and so forth. So, in other words, the English translation is precisely Chinese, with English words pasted on top. Okay? Back to the Chinese. Existence, non-existence, not to, li, to go away from, to leave behind. Fun, yeah, cutting up. Oops, go back. Fun is to cut up. Bie is to separate, to distinguish, to discriminate. So, existence, non-existence, not to, free from things that separate and make distinctions. All right? Non-dual in being and non-being, free from discriminations. Okay, that's code. That's code language. That's not clear what that means. Okay, sui, shun, following, flowing with, dharma, nature, like this, contemplating. According with dharma's nature, he makes such contemplations. This wisdom gain success, enter sixth ground. This wisdom brings about that he enters the sixth ground. Okay? Because it's a verse, it needs to be terse and succinct. And it's always a toss-up if you're translating to balance between being succinct and being clear. If it's so brief that you can't understand it, then you may have succeeded in making it succinct, but you've sacrificed intelligibility. People don't know what it means. So, as I say, it's a toss-up. You have to make a decision, or multiple decisions. What are we talking about? Our bodhisattva has finished the fifth ground, now wants to hear the next step in his or her progress in the bodhisattva path. How do you behave like a bodhisattva? What do bodhisattvas do? Well, sixth ground is the wisdom stage. Bodhisattvas mastered meditation. That happened in the dhyana stage, the number 5, the one just previous. So now he's saying, okay, I can really meditate, but I need to know the next stage. And that's the prajna phase. So, difficult for us, really difficult for us, is that the prajna phase, stage number 6, requires insight past the surface. You have to be able to see branch tip and root of the tree at the same time. Cause and effect need to be both visible. So this is where we have this new concept called 2 levels of reality. There's provisional reality, provisional truth, and ultimate truth. The Buddha sees this, and we don't. Unless you're a meditating monster, just such a good meditator that your eyes actually see. You got it. You've got that kind of wisdom. So it's a problem for translators because we're pointing at something that most of us can't see. So we have to use analogies. We have to use like a lot. It's like this. Because it's not going to be my experience. It's not going to be your experience. That's the hassle when you get to prajna. And that's the very reason that after all these years, I've never explained the Heart Sutra. I've never explained the Diamond Sutra. I've never tried to explain the Prajnaparamita Sutras because they go directly into logical contradictions. It's not my state. So that's why I say it's good to point to it and say, nope, I don't go there. Don't know it yet. I'm working on it. Don't know it yet. Meanwhile, let's work with what we got and see if we can do it. This wisdom brings, okay, 此智得成如履历. In the verse just prior, last week, it said that the Bodhisattva talked about what he got on the fifth ground, fifth stage. He wants to go further. So this is wisdom that allows him to, and here Ru probably doesn't mean master. Sometimes Ru means to like, you get it. Here I think it means to actually approach, to come into, to get into. That's what he really got into it, we say, right? To get into the sixth ground. So wisdom, these are some of the aspects that allow, aspects of wisdom that allow the cultivator to get into, get into the sixth ground. We're going to translate it for clarity first and then see if we can't shorten it up, all right? So that's the topic of this quatrain, these 4 lines. These are some of the aspects of wisdom that allow the cultivator to get into the sixth ground. That I understand. That's clear, right? Okay. According with Dharma's nature, he makes such contemplations. When I hear contemplations, I know that what's being described is something that this particular individual can see in their mind. The contemplation is not seen with the eye organ. It's not that you look at it and you see it. You see it in your mind. You use your mind's eye, well, yeah, you use your wisdom. So, Guan, when I see Guan, Ru Shi Guan, contemplates like this. Contemplates like this, or in this way. How? Sui Shun Fa Xin. Following, flowing, Dharma nature. According with the nature of these dharmas, he contemplates in these ways. I would say it's plural, not just one. According with the nature of these dharmas, he contemplates let's see, we got these, according with the nature of those dharmas, he contemplates in these ways. Okay. So we're going backwards because I want to know what it's talking about. I don't want it to be just a series of terse statements. 有无不二理分别. Okay. In both. You may not consciously, making no discriminations. Making no discriminations. Whether, let's see, making no discriminations because of the, let's see, making no discriminations in its, let's see, making no discriminations of existence or non-existence. Making no discriminations between existence and non-existence. between, they are non-dual. They are not two. Like that. That's clear. There, let's see. This, what's being talked about? What's being talked about is the sixth ground teachings, right? What does this Bodhisattva want? He wants to learn how to do this. He wants to master the sixth ground knowledge, the lore. Remember last week we talked about the lore, L-O-R-E, of the sixth ground. This, these techniques, this information, these insights, these contemplations, these samadhis, right? The marks, the hallmarks, that is to say, the markers that make the sixth ground different from the fifth ground. That's what he wants. So that's our topic here. So it's in, let's see, still and quiet in both both substance and appearance. Just like illusions and the rest. Okay, what is it talking about here? Illusions and the rest. Ru Huan. When you see dung, dung is etc. in Chinese. What it's saying is there's more to this list. I'm not going to tell you now. You're not going to find out what it is here, because why? We're in a verse. The verse wants to bum 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 bum. 7. 1 bum 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 bum. That's 7. So it gives us dung. And when you see the Huan, where have we seen that Huan before in literature talking about wisdom? That ring a bell for anybody? When it comes to like Buddhist texts about wisdom, when you see illusion, Huan, anybody like, aha? Especially when it's followed by etc., meaning there's a list. How about Ru Meng, Ru Huan, Ru Pao, Ru Ying, Ru Lu, Yi Ru Die, Ning Zuo, Ru Shi Guan, like dreams, like bubbles, like illusions, like water, bubble on the foam, like dewdrops in a lightning flash, right? Contemplate them thus. That's the last quatrain, the last verse. It's not a quatrain, that's the last verse of the Diamond Sutra. Bodhisattva says, all conditioned things, this is how you should look at them. So this is, sure enough, what are we doing? We're talking about prajna, wisdom. Heart Sutra, Diamond Sutra, prajna paramita. So you see, like illusions, oh, and the rest. You know it's talking about that set of, analogies to what wisdom is like. The dharmas are there, but they're there the way a dream is there. How is a dream there? The dream is there briefly and murkily, not clearly, right? The dream is like, yeah, I kind of get it, but I don't. And I know I had it, and boy, it sure seemed real. I woke up, it's gone. Likewise, illusions are that way. Hot summer day, 2-lane blacktop. You look down the road, you see water on the blacktop. Nope, there's no water on that road, but it sure looks like it, right? That's an illusion. Okay, like a bubble. What's a bubble on the stream? Gone. There it is. Pop, nothing there. It's gone. Right? Like dewdrops. The sun comes out, they evaporate. Like a lightning flash. Gone. Okay, all dharmas are the same, and this is telling us, sure enough, that's the list. Still and quiet in both substance and appearance. You could even say not extinct I was going to say serene, but serene won't work for this. Ji is lonely, solitary, and ended. Solitary and ended in both substance and appearance. Na. Still and quiet, closer. It's tranquil, you could also say. Its substance is quiet, meaning gone. It's like a bubble. And appearance, just like illusions and the rest. As they are not two. Okay, still and quiet in both substance and appearance, just like illusions and the rest. Making no discriminations, making free of discriminations between. Let's try that. Free of discriminations between existence or non-existence, as they are not two. According with the nature of such dharmas, he contemplates in these ways. These are some of the aspects of wisdom that allow the cultivator to get into the sixth ground. Okay, this one won't pass. That's too clunky, but it's clear. I say you're always choosing between, is it clear or is it succinct? Well, this is clear, but it's too many words. It's not succinct enough, so we're going to have to massage it one more time. Chinese, this wisdom. Wisdom like this wisdom, let's try it. This wisdom allows the cultivator. This 四智得成. Decheng is like gets accomplishment, right? This wisdom, when he gets this wise, he can get into the sixth ground. If you don't see things these ways, you don't. You have to see how things, everything in the whole world has an illusory appearance, both in body and in the appearance, and the substance is illusory too. And you can't spend a lot of effort going, gee, is this real? Is it not real? Because why? The answer is real and unreal is no longer a valid discrimination. Right? You see why this is hard? Why it's like a challenge to explain? And why from the Buddha's time you go to illusions and things like that to describe it. We have a perfect modern analogy, which is what? A television. You could say your computer, or you could even say the screen that you all are looking at there in the Buddha hall, right? And I'm looking at this flat computer screen. All you have to do to make the illusion of our talking to each other and my really appearing go away is pull the plug on the projector. Boop, black, gone. Oh, I thought we were talking to the Dharma Master. Where'd he go? Right? Where'd you guys go? You were just there right on my screen. Oh, well, it was actually a virtual, right? Or virtually connected. There's an example. That's how technology can actually help us visualize now what the Buddha only had to draw on nature before. So, we hold up a device like this, a phone. We think, oh my goodness, there it is. I'm really, looking at Facebook posts about Christmas, people's Christmas trees. No, you're not. You're looking at pixels on a Gorilla Glass, highly developed technology screen. And if your battery's gone, you're over. So, right, that's the nature of all conditioned things, says the Buddha's wisdom. Not just dharmas, but everything. Our bodies are like that. They're apparently slowly vanishing. In fact, it's happening quickly. So, okay, got that? That's why it's a challenge. Okay, we're going to move on to the second one here. and we have to go plumb the Chinese. Do it line by line. It's tedious, but I think it's worth it. You know, when you kind of see what it's saying, then it's like, oh my goodness, that's cool. I didn't think I understood. Now I can see I really didn't understand. Now I'm clear how much I don't understand. That's cool. Because it's not discouraging. It's the part that we do understand is really fascinating. Okay. 36. Let's try. Oh, too big. There we go. Oh. Is that big enough?
Yes.
Can you? Yes, good. Okay. Okay. Let's look at the Chinese here. Ming, Li. Now this is not the Ming and Li of name and fortune. Not that one. This is the other. This is a different Ming. Bright, sharp, following, patience, wisdom, full, complete. Endowed with wisdom of patience, of clarity, and keenness to accord. Haven't got a clue what that means. Guancha, contemplating, looking at. Shijian, the world. Sheng Mie, Xiang, coming into being, ending, appearances, attributes. He observes marks of production and extinction of the world. Okay. Yi, by means of, with, Chi An, stupidity's darkness, Li, strength, world born. If, get rid of, stupidity, darkness, world doesn't exist. All right? So what is going on here? Let's take a look. What are we talking about? We're talking about the Bodhisattva. Okay, that's our subject. So let's do that. Let's put the he. Okay, Ming Li, Shun Ren. Here's a kind of patience. His wisdom is full. See, so zhi, juzu. So okay, here's the way to do it. This is called the head word technique. You go to the last word of the sentence. So, complete, juzu, full and done, like fully there, replete wisdom. That's full of. He's full of wisdom. What kind of wisdom? Patient wisdom. What kind of patient wisdom? According, shun, harmonizing with, flowing with, patient wisdom. Li, sharp, like knife sharp, sharp, flowing with patient wisdom. What kind of that? Bright, sharp, flowing with patient wisdom. Okay. So our first whack at it was, he is endowed with an endowment. Endowment is what a university has when people give it money. He's endowed with, in other words, he's holding, he's rich with wisdom of patience, of clarity, and keenness to accord. Oh boy. Two ofs and an and to get the name. This is a name. This is a technical term. And what's being said is, he's got it. He's full of this. He is complete in the the wisdom of patience. Okay, there we go. There's that much. That is, in the wisdom of patience, that is he is complete in the wisdom of patience, that is in harmony, bright, and keen. There. He is complete in the wisdom of patience, that is harmonious, keen, and bright. That's a kind of wisdom. Okay? That's a name. So, patience that is harmonious, keen, and bright. Let's do it that way. Keen and bright. We could probably put that in capital letters, uppercase, because it's an official name of a kind of patience. He is complete in the wisdom of patience that is harmonious, keen, and bright. He, another subject here. Okay, he doesn't observe marks of production and extinction in the world. That sounds like he's a factory inspector, doesn't it? I'm going to go check out the marks of production and extinction in the world. No, that's not the actual physical, the human experience of it. This is a technical manual. We established that in the sixth ground. This is what bodhisattvas really, really, really do. And it's how to do it perfectly. So what are you doing? Here's our verb, guancha. He looks at. He is watching. He watches. What? 世间, how the world. He watches how worlds appear and vanish. That's real English, isn't it? You ever see a world appear and vanish? Yeah, I do it all the time. Yesterday, it was in the evening, and the sun had set, and I had to wash out my teacup, and I went to the sink, and I turned the water, and something went click. I don't know what it was, and I yanked the water off, and I looked down, and there were ants in the sink. And this little ant, they're just little ones, he got covered by water, but I turned it off in time, and I went, Namo Guanchi Infusa. And I could see this little ant. I was into his world, because I was like inches away from watching him. And the water covered him over, and he like squatted down, and the water subsided, and there was a little pool around him, perfectly in his shape, little ant-shaped pool of water, and he stood up and scrambled away, and ran away. And I was like, oh, whew, saved one. And another millimeter of water would have washed him down the sink. But I turned it off just in time. And he was saved from destruction and the end of his work. He would have had a journey down the pipe in water, and no little ant's going to survive that. So it was just like so close. But he like this ant, maybe he was taught water safety in ant school, but he crunched down, and then when the water subsided, he like that, and then this little perfectly ant-shaped pool of water around his body in proportion, and then stands up, runs away, splits. And I remembered, in the dark, turn the light on before you turn the water on, because chances are there's going to be ants looking for food in the sink. So, number one, keep your sink clean. So I scrub my sink so it wouldn't smell like food. Better chance that they won't go down there. But there, right there, was production and extinction of the marks of a world, And luckily, it was a happy story. So anyway, that's what it's talking about. Worlds appear and vanish. That ant's world nearly vanished. I mean, he would have carried on. He would have had a watery world, but not for long. So that's what it's talking about. Look, xiang, attributes, things you see, because he is guancha. What is it? Sheng Mia, coming into being, going away, appearing and vanishing. Shijian, worlds. And what is he doing? He's guancha. So yeah, he's watching how worlds appear and vanish. Appear and disappear. Vanish is a little more dramatic. But Sheng Mia, birth, death, watches how worlds are born and die. Right? There you go. You can do that. Is he watching like planets? Is that what you think about? Like Vanuatu is about to be submerged. These little Pacific atolls. What's the one off of the Maldives? The Maldives off of India is a favorite vacation spot for the wealthy folks. Its survival, its economy is based on tourism, and it doesn't have long. They know that as sea levels rise, it's going to be covered with water. So that's a world, continents going under. But it doesn't have to be that dramatic. It could be, what about an inner world? You've got, boy and a girl on BART train, and their eyes meet while they're waiting to get off the train. And you can imagine how, is he looking at me? Don't look at him. He's really cute. Don't look at him. And worlds come into being up, and then she jumps off the BART train and goes up and never sees her. Gone. And that the potential for love and romance, gone. Right? That's an inner world. Or somebody, meditating. You're there with your legs crossed, and you are looking into your huato, and instead your fire rises up and you nod. And the world of awakening goes away, because like that's a subtle world, but those doors open and close all the time. It's not waiting for a planet to come apart at the end of the eon or something. Worlds can be ants in the sink, or, galaxies coming into being. So he watches how worlds appear and disappear. And yi chi an li shi jie sheng. Now, let's put a colon here, and that colon, that little sign says, I'm going to show you. Right? The power of the colon says, watch. Here it is. That little colon right there. 2 dots means, I'm going to show you. How? We can repeat it. He watches how worlds disappear and appear. How through power of stupidity's darkness, the worldly worlds come about. And, let's see, and when, okay, how, let's see, stupidity, I think ignorance, stupidity is still in your face. Stupidity almost always sounds like an insult on the playground. Hey, stupid. Hey, like that. That's really stupid, And we have a choice. We can make it delusion, which with darkness is a good alliteration here. Delusions. How through the power of delusions, darkness, worlds come about. And when delusions, darkness disappears, worlds are gone. Okay? So, he watches how worlds appear and disappear. How is that? I'm going to show you. How through the power of delusions, darkness, worlds come into being. And when delusion's darkness is gone, when delusion's darkness, Mia disappears. Okay, Mia won't work for disappear. Mia means when you get rid of it, when it's done in, when delusion's darkness is dispelled. Dispel the darkness of their endless night. From our dedication of merit. So. Okay, he's complete in the wisdom of patience that is harmonious, keen, and bright. That's an official name of a patience, of a wisdom. It's the wisdom of patience that is harmonious, keen, and bright. And he's full of that. He is full of that wisdom. And so he watches, he can see, he can contemplate how worlds appear and disappear. How through the power of delusion's darkness, worlds come into being. And when delusion's darkness is dispelled, worlds are gone. If dispel delusion darkness, worlds no longer exist. Okay, so I'm going to ask for feedback on this. What do you think? Look at what we started with and what we got as a result after trying to make it clear. Okay, here we go. In substance and marks still and extinct like illusions and so forth, non-dual in being and non-being, free from discriminations. According with Dharma's nature, he makes such contemplations. This wisdom brings about that he enters the sixth ground. That's pretty chewy, isn't it? Endowed with wisdom of patience, of clarity, and keenness to accord, he observes marks of production and extinction of the world. That through power of stupidity's darkness, the worldly is produced. And if stupidity's darkness disappears, the worldly does not exist. Still and quiet in both substance and appearance, just like illusions and the rest. Free of discriminations between existence or non-existence, as they are not two. According with the nature of such dharmas, he contemplates in these ways. This wisdom allows the cultivator to get into the sixth ground. He is complete in the wisdom of patience that is harmonious, keen, and bright. He can contemplate how worlds appear and disappear, how through the power of delusion's darkness, worlds come into being, and when delusion's darkness is dispelled, worlds are gone. 怎么样啊? Shifu would say, 心动百事有，心静万事无. That's like a couplet. Maybe you have to massage it to make it a couplet. When the mind moves, 100 matters come into being. When the mind is still, 10,000 things disappear, are gone. It's all over. Boy, that sounds scary, doesn't it? Sounds like extinction. Ooh, that word. We got to get rid of extinction from the Buddhist vocabulary. Extinction is what happens to dinosaurs and dodo birds. Half of the species on the planet before long. The problem was that this word mia was available in Matthew's dictionary as extinction. People grabbed it right away. Okay? No comments? Locke, anybody online have a comment?
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm not being outrageous enough? Provocative enough? Okay, I'll work on it. Let's move forward here. See if I can go too far. Somebody's got to call me back. You went too far this time, Darwin. I don't want to sound critical of initial attempt. We were reflecting accurately our knowledge of Chinese at the time, and also our knowledge of Dharma. And you would hope after 30 years that we would progress, right? If we didn't, that'd be too bad. So we're trying to see if we can't make more sense of it. And the key for me is, I think about the Buddha's voice. Would the Buddha be clunky in his English? Of course not. The Buddha's English would be fluent. Why are we satisfied with having the Buddha speak some sort of translation language that no human ever spoke? Right? The Chinese say 不中不西. It's not Asian, it's not Western. It's neither one. Okay, here we go. 观诸因缘实义空不坏假名和用无作无受无思念诸横如云片性起 He observes how in the real sense all causal conditions are empty. Yet, not destroying false names, they have intercombining function. But there is no doer or receiver, there is no thought. For all activities are like clouds which pervasively arise. Okay. This is a profoundly... Yeah, go ahead, grab it. Make the comment. Toss her that mic. Yihuan, 有话说吗?
No, but I'm still contemplating about the 此智得成入六地, about the I'm not sure about allow. Do you think that enable will be a better choice than allow?
Enables, okay, yeah. Yeah, can do. It's the same, that's a choice, right? What you don't want is the idea of makes, right? That would be if it was Ling, for example, Ling Ru. No, it's to enable you, to allow you, to make it possible. That's both good. There's no just big difference between those. That's very good. Thank you for that contribution. What? Yeah, more? You sure?
Right. About the 名利顺忍, the patient of 名利顺, because this specific term appears twice. This is the second time this term appeared. So do you think we need to go back to the page 26 to check the translation?
How did we do it? You want to? Yeah, I don't have access to that at the moment. Can you tell me how we translated it?
On the page 26, the translation for the 名利顺忍, our translation.
Wait. I may have it, right? It's on our same document. Good. In that case, I have it. 26, right there. Let's see. Boost this up here. Let's see. 步入第二去烦恼。Yes. 的第三名利顺忍。Third level of patience, clarity and keenness to accord. Okay. Okay, clarity and keenness to accord. There we go. Patient, third level of patience. Oh. Okay. I'm going to do some homework and come back. This is how I remember, so I don't make an empty promise and then fail to deliver. There we go. Homework. See if I can bold it. Yes, there we go. Homework. Check that out. I'll find out more about that. I don't want to take our group time to do my looking up, but there are different levels of patience. There is patience with dharmas, patience with sheng, coming into being, and then wu sheng fa ren, patience when dharmas no longer arise. And we've got that translated. I'm really happy with that. It's one of our better translations. Patience when dharmas no longer arise. People used to call it the unproduced dharma patience. Not good enough. It's coming up. It's between the 7th and 8th. That's that state we're talking about, irreversibility. The bodhisattva, in his or her actual reality, sees that all things are just as they are. They don't come into being, they don't go away. And he's tempted to go crazy. It's really tempting to go nuts, because it totally goes against everything you've ever learned or heard before. So it violates physics, logic, rationality, and everything. And you have to be patient with it. Because why? It's just another state. It's yet one more state. And that's when the Buddhas come to you and say, whoa, 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 don't freak out, don't quit, keep going, right? So that's the third kind of patience. I'm not familiar with the Ming Li Shun Ren, so I have to do my homework. So I'll come back to you on that. Unless if there's anybody online who can get there first and report, that's good. But after we understand it, we still have to translate. Saying we can cite it from a dictionary is one thing, but we have to translate it too. So I have stuff I want to share with everybody. And, we got a comment here. Okay, 18 people online. Great. You've all stayed home with the family over Christmas. You're joining online. I know how it works in the holidays. Okay, let's do another one here before we move on. What does it say? Guan, here we go, same verb. See, in the 6th ground, there's lots of inner vision. You have wisdom. So in other words, there's multitudes of realities. There's a choice of realities. It's not just one kind of reality. Everybody agrees on this is real. That's true, this is false. No. The inner contemplation sees through the surface entirely. You see how all dharmas are what? Contemplate zhu yin yuan, shi yi kong, how zhu here is pluralizer, how we don't need that. How causes and conditions shi in their real sense, in terms of reality. In other words, pointing at which? Ultimate truth. Two levels of truth. When you know that's happening, this suddenly opens up. There's 2 levels of truth being accessed here for the first time. In the 5th ground, 4th ground, 3rd ground, 2nd ground, 1st ground, not there yet. Now in the 6th, there's 2 levels of truth. Shi yi means real meaning, i.e. zhen di, not xu di, right? So in the real meaning, this by the way is the word for my name, Heng Sure. In the real meaning, kong, empty, power word. We don't want to necessarily stop with empty for that. You could use void. You could use emptied, emptying, that they're going empty. They keep returning to nothing. You grab them and they're not there. Empty sounds static. Sounds like it's stuck there. So that's a challenge, because this is a prajna word. This word pops up in the 6th phase. Because why? For you, you're meditating, it's actually going empty. You sit there and your body is like a cloud. right? You can't find your thoughts. You've emptied out the self. The self has been gone for a long time. You can't find it anywhere. And then dharmas start to go empty too. And this is not my state, but I'm thinking that probably your wisdom is down into the molecular binding of particles, right? Nucleus, electrons, protons, neutrons. Remember we did that in science in high school? Okay? So you're in there understanding that the only thing gluing my body together is my karma. And where's my karma? Invisible. But real. Because it's invisible doesn't mean phony, right? So he sees how both causes and conditions, in other words, the things that merge, that make us California, makes us Australia, makes that a kookaburra, and makes this a huntsman spider, those are all conditions flowing and quickly changing, right? In fact, there's nothing there. That's what it's talking about. He observes how, in the real sense, he observes how ultimately causes and conditions are empty, or ultimately in the ultimate sense. How in the ultimate sense causes and conditions are void, is kind of, but void is, that also is static, are, moving through, hard to grab, empty, stick with that. Okay, check this one out. 不坏假名和合用. Not destroying false names. Oh. He does not do away with their false names. 和合用. What is it talking about? He's saying, here's the reality. This is, the Bodhisattva has a bunch of adjusting to do, right? What's going on? Suddenly he's got another, like a door opened up in his reality, and he sees that everything that he thought was solid in one way is no longer that way. The Bodhisattva has to constantly balance. I see this, they don't see that. I know this, those people don't know that, right? I've got one eye open in the land of the blind, they've got both eyes shut. They're bumping into stuff in the dark. I've got a flashlight and I can shine on a little bit, I can see a little bit of what's going on. He's always having to adjust because there's this whole new reality, a new world has opened up. So, what does he do? He still calls ice cream, ice cream. Mouse turds are mouse turds, He doesn't try to explain to everybody what he sees now, that how they're just conditions coming together temporarily, right? He doesn't do away with their false names or their multiple functions. He doesn't do away with false names or their many uses. The he here, harmonious, or their multi-layered functions, right? Multiple functions, they're interwoven functions. Names are useful. If you get up from your meditation where you've been contemplating emptiness, and somebody says, Jin He Sure, and you say, oh, I'm just so far out, I don't exist in this level at all anymore. You know, they're going to go, I don't want to be a monk. Do I have to be like you when I grow up? You know, right? You still have to say, yes, Jin He Sure, yes. You know it's not real. You can't behave as if everyone else agrees with you. Because why? It's a state. This is a Jingjie. This is the 6th ground. He's got the 7th ground, the 8th ground, the 9th ground, the 10th ground ahead. This is not done yet. But it's different than ever before. Okay? Look at poor Qin Xian. He was Marek for all those years, and now he's no longer Marek. What do you do with that? How long does it take to adjust to a name? Right? And the identity behind it. Okay, he doesn't do away with false names, or they're interwoven. That's temporary, right? Multi-layered, harmonious, they're, what do you say? They're multifaceted. They're, what's the word we're looking for? The way they work together in harmony. Okay, next line. 无作无受无思念 amid these causes and conditions, or of the myriad of the world, there is no doer of action, no receiver of action, nor are there any thoughts that contain this entire experience. Right? If you used a lot of words, that's what you'd use. It's a verse, so it's terse as can be. No doer, no receiver, no thinking or mindfulness. No way to hold it in mind. There's no receiver, no way to hold it in mind. There. Amid these causal conditions, there's no doer of actions, no receiver of actions, and no way to hold it in mind. Isn't that interesting? You can't think your way out of this because it's real. It's beyond conscious discrimination. It doesn't remove conscious discrimination or replace it, but it's not limited to yes, no, right, wrong, up, down, physics, logic, language. It's another entire level called the Dharma realm. This is a place where principle and Dharma operate. But you need wisdom to get there. And yet we all can, right? So the Sutra of the Dharma realm is the place where we go to find out about it. Zhu Heng Ru Yun Pian Xing Qi. For all things done, for all I think we're still working on the verb. He sees that all behavior is like Zhu Heng, all things that are done, all actions is like all actions are like clouds rising on every side. Pervasively is too many syllables. He sees that all actions are like clouds rising on every side. Okay, let's see if we've made English out of it. He observes how, in the ultimate sense, causes and conditions are empty. He doesn't do away with false names or their multiple or their integrated. That's the word I was looking for. Integrated functions. Amid these causes and conditions, there is no doer of actions, no receiver of actions, and no way to hold actions in mind. He sees how all things done are like clouds rising on every side. Okay? How are we doing? Is that better? See, what's our challenge? Our challenge is we're suddenly into the realm of wisdom. We met the same challenge when we started the prose section of the sixth ground. We're in a realm where thinking doesn't help us. Oh gosh, you Buddhists. What helps you? Wisdom and commentaries, right? Master Hua, Master Chengguan, Master Chengnao, and any meditators who are bold enough to try it. So this is tough stuff. So I maintain that you can still approach it. That doesn't mean you're going to settle for nonsense or that quit because it's too difficult. I don't think so. I think the sutras were meant to be explained. But what we do is we point to it. It's kind of like a third grader picking up differential calculus and saying, I know the numbers. I know how they got there. They used numbers and went that way. Or like a pianist, you know, the pianists start with 2 forefingers. Ding, 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 right? Pretty soon it's all the fingers at once. 2 staffs, upper staff, you know, the grand staff. So we got words and we've gone every step to this point, but now the things being described in the sutra require samadhi. They require no attachment. And everything that we got so far is needed and used. Patience, or the giving, right? Happiness, the ground of happiness. Patience, giving, and then virtue, morality, precepts, then patience, and then vigor, samadhi. Now we're in step 6. And oh boy. Let's try again. Still and quiet in both substance and appearance, just like illusions in the rest. Free of discriminations between existence or non-existence, as they are not two. According with the nature of such dharmas, he contemplates in these ways. This wisdom enables the cultivator to get into the 6th ground, to, master. It's actually approach. He's not there yet, but we'll point him there. He's complete in the wisdom of, we're working on the name. He can contemplate how worlds appear and disappear, how through the power of delusion's darkness, worlds come into being. When delusion's darkness is dispelled, worlds are gone. He observes how, in the ultimate sense, causes and conditions are empty. He doesn't do away with false names or their integrated functions. Amid these causes and conditions, there is no doer of actions, no receiver of actions, and no way to hold actions in mind. He sees how all things that are done are like clouds rising on all sides. So what does that do? That takes it out of the cultivator's mind and puts it out into the world. That includes the Middle East, that includes the Far East, that includes the North Pole, the South Pole, and everywhere in between. That's why this is so powerful. We've now covered the world with that verse. This is a creation story. This is a Buddhist, this is such a powerful thing. This does away with God, right? If this verse is true, you don't need God anymore. God doesn't exist in these verses right here. And best you can do is say it's the mind. It's the function of the Dharma and the mind. This is the Dharma realm. The 6th ground is the doorway into the Dharma realm. How about that? Nobody's saying anything. It's just me prattling on and on. Okay.
Oh?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a quick question about the 关注因缘实义空. So, does that mean that the cause and conditions are empty, or the ultimate sense is empty. Because I think when I read the Chinese, I feel that, right, the Bodhisattva contemplates the cause and the conditions. So he realized that the ultimate sense is empty. But now our translation seems like the cause and conditions are empty. So he's contemplating the ultimate sense. So just want to get the order kind of right.
Yeah, they're empty in the ultimate sense. In the ordinary sense, they're absolutely not empty. Key here is in the ultimate sense. 实义. And you don't see that. And I don't see that. For us, we can point to it. We can say, the sutra says, my authority, the sutra says things are empty. But I can't act as if they are because it's not my reality. It's the Buddha's and the Bodhisattva's reality. Okay, so the university student who says, time to turn in my exam paper for the class. Here it is, professor. I sign my name, but it's empty. It's a blank piece of paper. Why? In the ultimate sense, cause and conditions are empty. Right? I've had students do that, actually dare to do that. And I say, oh, okay, that's great. I really appreciate you showing me your wisdom. Meanwhile, when it comes time to give you a grade, you're not going to get a grade, because why? It's ultimately empty. Right? So, in other words, don't pretend that you see the ultimate sense. We still have to take one step at a time. When we're hungry, we eat, you know. So, this is talking from the Buddha's level. The Bodhisattva can observe how ultimately causing conditions are empty. Non-ultimately, which is where we live, in duality, cause and conditions are absolutely the same. If you don't stop when the light is red, you cannot tell the ambulance driver that that red light was empty. Right? That makes sense, Alan? For you, for me, they're not empty. That doesn't deny the Buddha's reality that they're totally empty. And the sutra here is saying, take a look, pull the curtain back, here's what the Buddha sees. Close it. Here's what the Buddha sees. Close it. So that's cool, because we get to hear the Buddha's reality. But the mistake some people make would be to say, oh yeah, mine too. That's my reality too. No, don't pretend. But keep working. It can be, but don't. It's more than just a name. Locke, anybody online? Taking me on? If it's all empty, why bother to cultivate? Well, if it's all empty, why bother to ask? Right? That was the joke 2 weeks ago.
All still.
All still. All is, okay, what is it? It is still and quiet in both substance and appearance. Hubba, hubba. Okay, cool. We are going to go here. One thing I wanted to share with everybody. Please do this. I am able to give you a gift today. And yeah, it's coming right up. The very link I was looking for. There is a show, an hour-long show. It's on YouTube now. That if you watch, you can see Jin He Shi and Qin Xian Shi on CBS television. Hey, hey, hey. It is an interfaith Christmas special. Never been one before, an interfaith Christian Christmas special. What happened was, URI, United Religions Initiative, has been working in the trenches of interfaith for 14 years, largely unappreciated, unknown, and CBS, somebody connected Bishop Swing with CBS TV, Columbia Broadcasting System, the big, ABC, NBC, CBS. And CBS said, we would like to do something.
CBS presents.
CBS presents. We would like to do something different this year. Would you put on a Christmas broadcast? So, yeah, indeed. So they got the members of URI that were available over at St. Gregory of Nyssa's church in San Francisco. Actually, at the Parliament of World Religions, when URI had their reception, people recall, we went over to walking through the convention center in Salt Lake City to that URI reception that was just swamped with people. Just, boy. And Sally Mae came up to me and she said, something's happening. CBS wants us to do a Christmas special. Could you bring some Buddhists? And I said, well, I can send some Buddhists. I can't bring them. I won't be there, but I can. And so we talked to Heng Sure, we talked to Heng Liang Shi, and we got it worked out in Dharma Master Chur that they would send some nuns. And that was a DRBU board meeting day in Berkeley. So they had to decide. And Jin Ho Shi and Qin Xian Shi went over, and they spent 4 hours in St. Gregory of Nyssa Church in San Francisco and came up with a wonderful show. It's really a wonderful show. May Peace Prevail on Earth, CBS Interfaith Christmas Special. And by golly, it was worth it. I've watched it twice. I showed it here last night, the whole thing, to our group of meditators, Buddha reciters here last night in my lecture. And people agreed. It was really, really worth it. Really excellent. It's full of memorable, heartwarming, uplifting stuff. And you get to see our Dharma masters and novices. And there's one interesting moment. I want to make sure that you watch the credits, because the very last moment, if you don't watch the credits, you'll miss it. Oh my gosh. It went by so fast, and I missed it. Where are we? Oh, turn that around. No, not there. Let's see. I know. There we go. Yes, here it is. Okay, we're going to bring this up. I want to show everybody to make sure that you watch all the way through to the very end, because here's Bishop Swing saying good night. Oh, there's our soprano. Bishop Swing say good night. Then there are the credits rolling, and who do you see? Somebody. That's my only appearance in the entire show. There you are. Oh my God. Isn't that worth waiting for? Yeah. Okay, so never mind. But here's what you do. You go to YouTube, and how can I, let's see. Let's see, you're not going to be able to find it that way. I'll give you the title. Show you the title so people can find it. Another way to do it is to go to Dharma Forest. If you go to my blog, where's Dharma Forest? It's right here. If you go to my blog, you will find right there, United Religions Initiative CBS Special. And here's how to find it. Look for May Peace Prevail on Earth, a CBS Interfaith Christmas special. Another way to find it is www.uri.org/CBS. It's on the URI website for a while. And I took it off of YouTube because it's that good. It's just heartwarming, uplifting. And it's special. I think it's historic to have interfaith be highlighted. You know, usually it's one faith or another, but you get to see something very special. May peace prevail on earth. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Now, I was definitely going to launch into our Buddhist idioms project, and didn't get there. We're out of time. Shoot. People, I didn't mean to tease you all by saying we're going to launch into this. I picked out some idioms, and I think to do it justice, we have actually run out of time. Let's see. I'm going to definitely do it for next week. In any case, here's the Buddhist carols. Now I know we're not optimized for music, but so you can all have a silent mind. Here we go. Silent mind, holy mind, all is kind, all is bright. Deep vipassana thoughts rise and fall, with clear insight detached from them all. Sit in heavenly peace, sit and contemplate. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we do one more quickly. Okay, this one you have to know O Little Town of Bethlehem. And if you don't know O Little Town of Bethlehem, this isn't funny. And you also have to know the Pure Land Dharma Door. If you don't know the Pure Land Dharma Door, this isn't funny. So this is definitely an exclusive kind of humor for people who both know Christmas carols and Buddha Dharma. So Qin Xian, it looks like it's you and me tonight. Here we go. Here we go. This is O Little Town of Bethlehem. O western land of utmost bliss, how pure we see thee lie. Your lotus flowers give birth to us, our karma purify. The vows of Amitabha, the wind of limitless light, saves everyone who says his name, reborn in pure delight. Thank you. Just throw money. Mail in those cards and letters. Put your hands on the computer. Hallelujah. Okay, never mind. So there we go. That's Dharma carols, Buddha Dharma carols. And although we don't have Christmas trees, this is about as close as we get to a Christmas tree here in Australia, which is frangipani. Isn't that vibrant? This is a blossoming frangipani at the peak. This is just boom, right? There you go. You know what they do on Christmas in Australia? Go to the beach. Go to the beach and barbecue. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you have a good time. Celebrate the birth of Jesus. Good indeed. Okay, so we talked about the URI special, and we talked about, next week we're going to jump into our Buddhist idioms, decoding Buddhist idioms. Definitely going to do that. And we are out of time for today. Sorry for the late start. We sometimes our computers throw us a curveball. So, all right, here we go. Let's transfer the mic. Hey, our minds as one and radiant with love, share the fruits of peace, with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find happiness, may our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward, may all sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Okay, Heng Sure, you want to lead everybody in bowing? And we'll see you all next week.
Okay,
Okay,
Amitofo.
Amitofo. Have a great week. Bye-bye, everybody.